Above all, with your experience and things like that, one of the biggest questions that can really help a lot of listeners right now. Give us the secrets of how do you find gold? What's your best uh, s- suggestion?
For the
That
greenhorn first timer
exactly,
newbie,
yeah, yeah. Bare bone basic. How? What do you live and die by to find the gold? Give us the
okay.
secret. Give us the lowdown.
Um, for a greenhorn noob, number one, buy a good pan, not a cheap shiny piece of junk, a good pan, whatever you're comfortable with. Learn how to use it and learn how to use it well. There's a saying, just like gold is where you find it, it starts with the pan and it ends with the pan. So learn how to buy a gold pan, season it. What I mean by season, every plastic product has a release agent to release it from its mold. It's kind of oily, and you want to scrub that and clean it off using Dawn soap, and or you could just use sand and scrape it up really good until your water stops beating and your pan stays wet, and then learn to use it well. The second most valuable piece of advice I could say is join a local club. The main problem here on the eastern seaboard and east of the Mississippi is we have very little public land, not like out west. And so joining a club, one, will give you access to land you could work on your prospecting and panning skills on, and it will give you access to people with knowledge of other tools such as dredges, high bankers, sluices, and most of the time, 99% of the time, they'd be more than happy to show you how it works. Let them use their stuff. We do keep some things close to our chest, you
Sure.
know, until we get to know you. And I'm sure it's the same way with your finger of the treasure hunting hand, you know. There's things you keep close to your chest until someone proves they're not fly by night
Yeah.
and proves their honesty and integrity.
Yep.
But
The
that
trust.
yes, and like we talked about
Yep.
earlier, major trust.
Yeah.
Trust is a huge thing when you're dealing with any type of treasure. Um, and it's so easy to lose it too. So you need to be careful with it. But that's probably my two main biggest things. Learn how to pan proficiently. Oh, and we talked earlier, DK can vouch for it. Gold fever is very, very real.
Yeah.
And once you get bit, I when me and my partner Daryl Grimley had Paystreak Enterprises in Cedro Woolley, Washington, I had these two guys come into our shop. They wanted a King 4-inch dredge, nice dredge, several $1,000s for this dredge at this time. You know, it's early 90s, right? And they're like, "Oh, I know a place. I'm gonna get rich." And I'm like, "Well, how long have you been prospecting?" "Oh, well, we just started not long ago, but I know there's lots of gold here." And I go, "How do you own a sluice?" "No, we just have some gold pans." And I'm like, I would think twice about
Hmm.
buying that dredge, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'll sell you it, but I would recommend you, if anything, you buy a sluice box and you learn to use that sluice box properly and learn how to pan till you're proficient at it. Because the last thing I'd want you to do is spend several $1,000s on a dredge, air hoses, masks, wetsuits, all that stuff, and then, or a big high banker setup. They want a dredge though. And then you go to the river, you're not getting rich, you're not even making enough to pay for the fuel to get
Yeah.
you to where you're going.
Right.
And then you get discouraged and it totally turns you off from the lifestyle altogether. They didn't listen. I did order them a dredge. They got it. They went out. They did not do as well as they thought they would. And it was way lot more work than they thought
Yes.
it was. And they got discouraged too quickly and wanted to sell it back. I'm like, no, I'm not going to buy it back, but I'll put it on consignment for
Right.
you. And here's what we get off of this consignment. And but I did try to warn them. I did try to tell them. I'm not one of those salesmen that would.
Right.
Oh yeah, here, let me. Yeah, it helped
It's
me
gonna
in
find
our
everything.
store,
Yeah.
Sell you whatever, yeah.
Right.
but
You need two of them, buddy.
yeah, why not three? Get one for
Real
your mom
prospectors
too.
use two. Yeah.
Right.
No,
Right,
but
right, right.
Ed, I
You
think
might
you're
as
right.
well get a high banker too.
Ed, I was gonna say, I think you're right. Just in anything in life, I mean, especially since we all have that same passion of treasure hunting for whatever,
Hmm.
you have to have the basics down. You get the person that's gonna go out right away and buy the dais too, not have any clue what they're doing, where they're going, or anything like that, and all of a sudden a week later they're going, "Well, I didn't find my gold. I didn't find 25 gold coins this week." You don't
Right.
you need to really get a good base of how this all works, and prospecting the same exact way. I mean, you could go and stick that dredge in a hole in any river and find absolutely nothing.